Hello, friends. Welcome to the unboxing and card make using Simon Says Stamp's May 2023 card kit, best year yet. Disclaimer, the kit was sent to me. I designed for Simon. I get these every month. I don't have to do the unboxing videos. They're just fun. And forget, my voice sounds a little it's actually like ridiculously early in the morning, and I am not a morning person. But I got a lot of work to do. So let's just check this kit out. Okay. Ooh, yay, it's a tray. Perfect. Perfect. So this is a birthday kit, which super fun. Simon hasn't done a birthday theme for their monthly kits in a while. It's been a while. So let's do the stamp set first. You get a big 6x8 stamp set called Best Year Yet, and you've got large sentiments, love, and then little companion sentiments. I always love having that because it's like you can have your main, and then you can add, you know, happy birthday from all of us. May your day be magical just like you. You know, like, I like the variety, the little extras, and then you've got your little images. So we got gifts and cake and balloons and all the fun things. There is a coordinating die set for this stamp set that does not come in the kit. It's separate. I will have links, like I always do, below to all the things. So you got the stamp set. And then there is there is. This die is so huge. This great big happy birthday wafer die. This is here's an these are A2, which I'll show in a second, just to give you an idea how big this is. Like, yeah, you could do so many, like, if you're doing A2 size, this is like your focal point, really. Although I'm like, ooh, you could have like that and then have some balloons. I got some ideas. Ideas are rolling. But these are also nice. It's nice having some bigger word dies, especially if you do larger than A2 cards. So, you know, you do your 5x7. This would like fully fill like a mini slimline, which would be really cool. Again, ideas. So you get that. And then you get a whole pack of the Pastel Cardstock Assortment Color Blend. Simon, this is the second set. Simon did a brighter colored one. I do hoard these, but I've ordered some extra. I've ordered extras and have other ones, you know, that were sent to me. So, because I'm always like, ooh, you guys know me. It's the same as with pattern paper. I'm like, oh, I have to hoard them. But anyway, these are A2 size, so 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. They have a glossy finish, and they're just like done for you, you know, blended, wonderful. One thing I want to experiment with these is to hot foil onto them, because they have the glossy finish. They will foil, like hot foil. Oh, so wonderfully. I was also thinking though of like white heat embossing on them, die cutting, like things like this, and that's like why they're in the kit, is when you die cut sentiments from them, so you can get like pretty ombre sentiments with that glossy finish. You guys know. So you get a pack of that, and they're just pretty. They're just pretty. I love the colors. Can't go wrong with pastels ever. So you get a pack of those. You get one of these fun little tags. This one is, does it say if it's a, oh yeah, it's a little American tag. I like little tags for cards. I like adding them to cards, although if you do little gift packaging and things, you could add like little gift, little balloons, one of the littler sentiments, you know, that would be really cute too. So you get those. You get an entire pack of glitter gel pens, which they're water-based. I might have to do some little bit of playing with these. My plan when I saw these is I like pens like this for writing to the recipient on the insides of the cards, especially like glitter pens, things like that, because they just give it that little extra something. Do I have a scrap of cardstock here? Here, I'll just color on the back of this paper because I'm just curious. Oh, the color looks really nice. Oh yeah, they're glittery. Oh, these are fun. Yeah, for the most part, I'm going to be using these like just in my pen stash to stick in with, you know, when I'm writing to recipients. But these will be nice to add little accents. I'm also thinking like florals, like after I've colored them, you can go in with like the gel pens and add little details just like we do with a white gel pen, but you could use, like, it's always a randomness of things that, you know, catch my eye, but these are pretty, and they write really nicely. My handwriting is atrocious, but these write really nicely. Oh, these will be fun. So yeah, more pens to add to my stash. I guess I'll test the purple one out too, because of course. Of course. Here. I think... See? Look at it. Aren't those fun? So now you guys can understand why I'm like, yay! Glitter pens! Oh my goodness. Okay, so you get a whole pack of those, and I am obviously very, very happy about these. These are going to be fun. These are going to be fun to play with. So you get those. Oh, some bling, of course. Can't have birthday cards without a bit of bling. So you get, these are surprise party sequins and a tray. You guys see me use these in a bajillion videos. I have stacks of them. I use them all the time. They're just handy. But yeah, pretty bling. Can never go wrong with bling. So you get bling, the tray. You also get, Simon just released in their April release, the Beautiful Days release, yes. A couple different embellishment tools. So this one is the, because they have two different names for them. This is the place and score tool, which obviously, yes. Placing, here, let me show. Because again, if you don't watch all my videos, you guys have seen me use embellishment wands and pick up sticks and all that. Same idea, all the same idea, but the whole point is the ones with the wax end. So you put down your little glue, you'll be able to press it in, and because it's wax, it doesn't really stick. That's why I always love the ones with the bit of wax. This tip is replaceable, and Simon does sell replacement. All the brands have that. So if you do manage to completely mush it or wreck it or, I don't know, use it up, you need a light hand with these. I've never replaced any of mine, and I've, like, some you guys have seen me use for years. But because they're wax, if the tip does get a little bit mushed, you know, because if you press too hard or it gets a little gunky, I just like will hold it for a little bit and warm it up between my fingers, and I just kind of go like this and I roll it, and I'll be able to reshape it, smooth it out, and I have never replaced. I have a stack of replacements. Never needed to. So, love. So, that's that end, and then the other end on this tool is the scoring end, which I was actually kind of excited about. I have a bunch of these little stylus tools, like just these tools, and I like these for when you have wafer dies that, you know, like an envelope wafer die, anything that has a score line on the die that, you know, you need to fold here, etc. I like using a stylus tool to reinforce that score to get an even better fold. So this comes in really handy. You can use this to score card bases if you want. I prefer my Teflon bone folders for that, but this is just a nice tool to have. So yeah, you get one of those. Candy, of course. I didn't mention that at the beginning. This one's a banana. Candy. Can't go wrong with candy. And then cardstock, of course. Oh, and acetate. This, I think, is this the heat resistant one? Oh no, this is the cut and shrink sheet. So you can use it both ways. You can use this as acetate for shaker cards. You know, cut it down using your window. Like this is pretty heavy duty. But this is shrinkable, so you can stamp on this with an ink meant for these surfaces, so it usually stays on. So you'd stamp it, and then you can heat it with your heat tool, and it will shrink, you know, to a tiny little like embellishment, tiny little charm, that sort of thing. This used to be big. Like I've done shrinks like forever ago. It's probably been 10, 15 years. They're fun. They're just fun. I would more likely use it like as a shaker window. But yeah, if you like playing with that kind of stuff and like making little like charms and little old embellishments, because you can stamp it with stays on ink. You can color it like from the back with like alcohol markers, Sharpies, that sort of thing. Anything that can hold up on a non-porous surface like this, and then you can shrink it down with your heat tool and create little thingies like that. So you get that. And then we've got Nina Solar White 80-pound cardstock. This is a alcohol marker friendly cardstock, so you can stamp images, color them with alcohol markers. And then we've got Island Blue and Doll Paint cardstock. And that's the kit in a nutshell. I obviously got very distracted by the glitter pens. So at the moment, I don't have like specific ideas, but obviously if you stay tuned, I will be sharing my first couple of makes with this kit. I'm like, where to begin? We got Wafer dies and ombre and bling and this birthday set, and it's just fun. But like, stay tuned. I'll show you what I made. Like I always do though, I will have links below the video. I'll link to the kit. Because there are options, like you can subscribe to the kit. You can just buy the kit as a purchase. Like one time, add all your things to cart, go on about your day. That works. And then a lot of the things, of course, are available just individually. So I will have links to all that, including the die set that coordinates with this stamp set. And then if you just keep watching, I will show you guys what I decided to make first. Alrighty, so as you can see, I went more clean and simple, at least this time. But I still managed to add splatter. So, I took one of those pastel panels, and I was able to get 2 of those happy birthday die cuts out of it. So it's like, why not make 2 cards? Like I always do, you know? If I got the supplies sitting out, why not? So I die cut the sentiment from that. So I've got 2 of the like pretty purple to pink ombre. You've got like the whole kind of rainbow to choose from with these, and you totally could do, obviously, how many sheets are in that little pack? There's like, I think 8 or something of that. So if you were to do a card like this, you could do like 16 cards. Really, I think you get 8. It's something like that. Anyway, I went with the pinky purple one because it's just what stood out to me. And then I took scraps of white cardstock and I die cut the same wafer die multiple times from that so that I can stack them up 4 dimensions. So there's 2 layers of white cardstock and then topped with the pretty glossy ombre. And craft tacky glue for all of this. Super, super simple. The word, as you can see, die cuts, or the words die cut into 2 separate pieces, which I actually kind of like. It just worked with how I end up laying it out once I get this part done. So that was my first step, was doing just all the die cutting, and then I adhered all the little pieces together. The little dots for the eyes I have set aside in just that triangle tray, and I'll get to that when I actually assemble the card. So then for the card front, I pulled out some distress watercolor paper pieces, because you know you can get the packs that are A2 sized, and I'll have those linked like I always do with all the supplies. So I put them into my Misty smooth side up, and I used the wafer die, like the die cuts, to give me an idea of where I want to line up these little balloons, and then got those lined up. Used my anti-static powder tool to keep the embossing powder from sticking to where I don't want, and then inked this up with clear embossing ink. stamp that. And then I went with silver embossing powder, which I don't use very often. Those that, you know, if you've watched my videos for a long time, I always reach for gold. And it's like, I love gold. Gold is amazing. But I thought the silver would be really pretty. Gold would work perfectly too with this, but I just thought silver was, so I'm stepping out of the box a little bit. So went with silver this time. So stamp the image again, anti-static powder tool, stamp the image with clear embossing ink, coated it with Simon's silver embossing powder. Once both of these were coated, tapped off the excess, then I'll melt them with my heat tool. So get those smooth and melted, and you always just want to make sure there's no little grainy areas. If anything is a little dull or grainy when you're heat embossing, you just need to make sure to hit that spot with your heat tool. It's melted, everything's smooth, shiny, you're good to go. So got those embossed, and then I pulled out my little, just one of my little plastic palettes. Any non-porous surface would work. Heck, I can use my glass surface for this. I just rarely do this on my glass surface because it's pretty much guaranteed I'm going to get my elbow in it, you know. So a little non-porous palette works great. And then I used 3 of Simon's positively saturated inks. You could use distress inks for this, distress oxides. Any water reactive ink is going to work. So I used Simon's Lilac, Heather, and Bubblegum positively saturated inks because they went perfectly with the colors of the pastel blends. And then I just smushed those onto just using the edge of the ink pad because you don't need very much. In fact, what I put here is way more than I needed, but it's fine. And then I just picked up the colors with my little Distress watercolor brush and quickly painted it on. Super, super simple, super duper easy. And then the colors go with the die cut. And for the 4th balloon, I just kind of mixed the Heather and the Bubblegum together just to give it just a slightly different shade, you know, because why not? Why not? So once I was done painting all these, of course I'm going to add splatter. I was aiming for more clean and simple because you guys know I don't do clean and simple hardly ever. There is a serious art to clean and simple, and I just struggle with that. But splatter, it needs, everything does. Anyway, I wanted silver, and even with the craft stash that I have, I didn't quite have anything I could count that would work, that I wanted to work. So all I did was I took my Perfect Pearl powder that you guys see me use like a bajillion times. And then I also took Perfect Pearl powder in pewter, which is much darker. But I like to mix things. So I mixed a teeny tiny bit of the pewter with the Perfect Pearl shade silver. Perfect, simple, easy, shimmery, lovely. All I had to do. So added a tiny bit of that to the palette, mixed it up with water, used my fan brush, added a bit of splatter, let that dry, which took very little time at all because it's just a fine little amount of splatter. And then in that stamp set in the kit, there's also these little tiny kind of, like starburst images. And so I put those onto an acrylic block and just stamped them just all around here and there with those same inks. So it's just a subtle little thing, but again, it just gives it that extra little something. So, and I just wiped it off with my finger each time after stamping between colors because when images are this tiny, I don't even need to bother really like cleaning them between colors because it's tiny. So I stamped all of those, set those aside, kept the inks out. My card bases are just top folding white note cards, so A2 size, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I've opened these up to the insides, and I'm just stamping those balloons with those same 3 inks all across the bottom of the inside of the card. And I'm just going to overlap them. It's going to give the color, the balloons, and I decided not to add any sentiments. Again, I'm going a little more clean and simple. And the balloons are just super cute. And I was loving this color combo. So I went along with this one. I did like wipe off the stamp in between colors with just a baby wipe, and then quickly wiped it on my hand to because it's still a little bit wet, and then inked it up, stamped, inked it up, stamped, repeat the process till I've stamped both of the insides of the cards. So then once that's stamped, I'm going to use my little score buddy and my Teflon bone folder just to reinforce the score and the fold on these cards. And then the distress panels that I had colored and splattered, I didn't cut them down at all. I decided to just glue them as is because they are also A2 size, so they're just going to cover the entire card base. So added some craft tacky glue to that, pressed that into place, did that to both of these card fronts, and then to adhere the sentiments, I lined them up and then just adhered the like back half of it first, as which we'll get to here in like now. There we go. So lined everything up first before I adhered everything down. You don't want to like adhere the first part of the sentiment and then end up like running out of room, because like now you can see just how big this sentiment wafer die is. I'm kind of loving it, you know. It's fun having someone like this. Was the focus. That's why I kind of kept the rest of the card for this time anyway. This time anyway. Kept the rest of the card really simple and let the focus be this great big, you know, shiny, ombre, glossy, happy birthday. So just put that under acrylic blocks after I adhered it in place. And then the dots for the eyes, and I've shown this many times, this is the easiest way to do it. Rather than trying to like fiddle and adhere them on their own, I adhere them into place directly onto the card. And with this one, it's super easy because these aren't like teeny tiny. Like some of the ones I do are just tiny. Although with the tiny ones, more often than not, you can just stick a little like crystal or a jewel in place and just skip the stacking. Really, it just depends. But this was super easy. Just adhered them. I picked them up with the little wax pickup stick there that comes in the kit, adhered them into place, and then I opened up the package of sequins you get in the kit, and I actually picked out there's some like soft, just pale pink sequins in there, or confetti, and then just the kind of plainer iridescent ones. Those went well with these colors, so I picked those out, and then I just adhered just a few onto the card, again just using the little pickup stick and the craft tacky glue. And then I as always, I was going to be done here, but I still wanted to use these gel pens. And these gel pens, the colors are very bright, so they didn't go with this card because, you know, I went more with the pastel. However, there was a silver gel pen in that set, which I, you know, had scribbled. And I was thinking about using just a white gel pen as highlights on the balloons. That would work fabulous as well. But I was like, ooh, why not do silver? So that's what I did. So I just drew little, you know, the little highlights, added a little dot to each of the balloons with the silver gel pen. So it's another one of those things where it's very, very subtle. You know, you can barely see the sparkle on it, but it's there. It's cute. And I genuinely like these pens. Like, that's what they'll mostly be used for me, is I'm keeping them in my, you know, my big container of pens. And when I'm filling out cards, I can write with them because legit, like, they write really nice. I'm very happy with them. So added those little bits, and that finished off the cards. So you can see the shine from the splatter and the glossiness. Love. It was fun. As always, I will have links below the video. Like I said, I'll link to the kit, the individual things, the other supplies I used. All of that info will be linked directly below this video. There'll be a link to my blog post. In my blog post, it's picture links, so it's a little easier to navigate. That's always the top link below the video, and then all the other stuff is linked below. You just got to expand it, scroll down, you can see it all. Thank you all so very much for taking the time to watch my videos, for thumbs upping, commenting. I very much appreciate it. It helps a ton. Subscribe if you haven't. I would love to have you, and I will see you all very soon in the next video. Bye.